All right, Shalom. You reached the He Pray channel. My name is Azam Awath. But first and foremost, I want to say call Halayim, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Harakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of 71319, where I learned this truth from, and who rule well. Salutations to the Bakiyar, the elect, the 144,000. That's 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. The 12 tribes of Israel consist of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and indigenous of America. The 144,000 being the governing body within the one-third. The rest of the one-third comprises of elect men, women, and children. Shalom to those Israelites scattered due to the diaspora and also the triangular trade. So our people come looking like different ethnicities, having various complexions. So it's not a black thing. We're not the black Hebrew Israelites. We're just Hebrew Israelites. Shalom to those that die in this truth. It says the dead should be raised up first. And those that will be accompanying Yahweh Shah on his return, including our King, King Mashah, who is King David. It's always just honor and privilege, honor and blessing to continue to do this work. The water Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah for answering my prayers and permitting me to do such. Baba Kashah Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah allowed us to be an edifying lesson to at least one member of the elect.
We're in Hawaii, baby.
This is crazy. This is home. There's someone I want you to meet. This is Ben.
My hand? He wants to shake my hand?
Yeah.
Hi, Ben. Our mom rescued him, and now he's part of our family.
Ben, happy.
He's kind of cute.
Yeah, right.
Ben?
Did something bite him?
Ben? There's something wrong with Ben.
Hey, what happened? It's me, Lucy. It's okay.
In the pool! Ben can't swim!
Lucy, bad. Bad. Bad.
You're on the phone. Try recent calls.
Yes, it's ringing. Brad, listen to me. We need help.
Oh, you need some help?
Send some.
911, what's your emergency?
Here, just send the police.
Ma'am?
He found me.
What's up? Sure this is the right place? Who the hell has a pet chimp?
So when I watched this movie trailer, I thought of the plowman shall overtake the reaper. Because, you know, that's how Esau, the so-called white man, likes to do. He likes to depict subliminally, as a subliminal monkeys or primates as you so-called Israelites, man, you jakes. And the owners of this particular primate were all, look like of the Caucasian persuasion. And what happened? That primate turned on their ass, man, and found out that, they were bad, as he kept pressing the button that Lucy was bad. And he was right. And that's what's going to happen in these times, too. There's going to be a time in which Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to put the spirit on his people to start, destroying you Edomites and you heathen nations, right? Going to Amos, chapter 9, verse, I'll start at verse 11. It says, the restoration of Israel, right? And hold on. Before I go there, too, I wanted to, and I'm just going to, this is just all through the spirit anyway, some things I picked up on the trailer anyway. So I'm going to the word Benjamin, right? Because that's the name of the particular monkey that those Edomite women had as a pet, which Benjamin means son of the right, which is not a coincidence. The sons of the right are the Israelites. And you seen in that trailer that primate Ben, or short for Benjamin, he went on to, as you saw in the trailer, seemingly to kill those Edomites, man. Going to Amos chapter 9, verse 11, it says, "In that day will I raise up the house or tabernacle of Dawadah that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old." So that's what you see right now, man. The elect, which the elect are men that are in full agreement, full submission under the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, man. Right? Because we know the house of David didn't just consist of the tribe of Judah, it consisted of elect men that had the spirit on them to side with King David, as they are going to do in this life. It says that they may possess the remnant of Edom, and that remnant is dealing with the rich elite. The rich elite are you so-called white people, man, who started calling yourselves white in 1681 in North Virginia due to the Bacon rebellions, where you created this construct that's a false construct dealing with race and color, when Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, he deals with nations. And you did that in efforts to conceal your identity from the world. It says, and all of the heathen. So the remnants of you other nations too, You all are going to be possessed by the nation of Israel. The nation of Israel consists of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and indigenous. It says, which are called by my name, saith Yahweh that doeth this. Behold, the days come. So there's going to be a day that's, fastly approaching, right? Saith Yahweh that the plowman, the one that is working the field, the slave, are the Israelites under subjection, under Esau and these heathen nations, as we are in the times of the Gentiles, right? It says that the plowman shall overtake the reaper. The reaper is the one that is reaping all the benefits. The slave master, the master, so-called. It says, in the treader of grapes, him that soweth seed, and the mountain shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. And I will bring again the captivity or slavery of my people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. Right. And who's going to build these waste cities after the destruction? It's going to be these heathen nations, man, under the orders of the immortals, the Israelites, because those that are the elect that get delivered out of America, they're going to become immortal when their spirit transfers to their extraterrestrial body that is awaiting them in the chariots, right? It says, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall make also, they shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And we're not going to be doing any of these things, man. It's going to be these heathens that are going to be the husbandmen. They're going to be the agriculturalists. They're going to be doing the servitude, and we're going to be reaping the benefit, and we're going to be receiving the glory for it. Just as on this side, they receive the glory for it, man. But as we receive our glory, we're going to be praising Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It says, and I will plant them, and that ones that are to be planted is you so-called blacks, Latinos, and indigenous. It says, upon their land, which is the land of Israel, which is being occupied by bastards. One of the tribes of Esau, which is Amalek. Despite them trying to say everybody and their mama is them, they just can't be the righteous devil, I guess, and say who they really are, man. It says, and they shall know. So really, you don't have any real power, in my opinion, if you have to conceal your identity, man. Absolute power, right? It doesn't have any fear, of being diluted or being extinguished. But we see that Esau, he doesn't have absolute power, which that shows you the power that he does have was given to him. And it was given to him by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. It says, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land. So the reason why is we're going to have the laws written in our DNA, man. It's going to be in us. So we're never going to go off, because going off for an Israelite equates to sin. And the wages of sin equals death. So we're never going to even experience death. And this was the jealousy of the serpent, in the garden, which the serpent was a member of, I'm pretty sure, the wicked, and that was jealous. It says, which I have given them, saith Yahweh thy power. Right, and the Heavenly Father himself is going to put us back in that land, not no piece of paper, man. You know, which that piece of paper is only good for temporary purposes, you know, because there's someone more powerful than the one that uh, put that piece of paper into law, where people have to abide by it. So Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is going to disannul your agreements with destruction and slavery, man. You know, going back to co-pilot, it says this prophecy symbolizes a role reversal. And there's going to be a big role reversal. You're not going to see billboards of so-called translucent skin and blue eyes and piss-colored hair, right? Which is a defect. You know, you're going to see the real perfection of beauty, how it was supposed to be. You know, not glorifying the biblical curse of leprosy, you know, and that's going to entail when the righteous return to authority, you know, that those European futures are no longer going to be the epitome of beauty, you know, and that's one of the things in which Esau tries to push to degrade the morale of you Israelites. You know, it says judgment and the collapse of the old order. The ones who were doing the labor, plowmen, now move faster than the ones who used to benefit from the labor, reapers. It says it's the end of exploitation and the beginning of recompense. Which recompense means payback, man. Go to the word exploitation. From 1803, productive working of something, a positive word among those who used it first, though regarded as a Gallicism from French exploitation, noun of action from exploiter. So let's go to exploit. Late 14th century, outcome of a action. From Old French exploit, a carrying out, achievement, result, gain, advantage. And what's one of the ways in which Esau has gained achievement, result, gain, and advantage? Through white supremacy, man. So going back to co-pilot, it says in the trailer, the monkey, once a pet, a servant, a controlled being, suddenly overtakes the one. And how did he suddenly overtake? And how did he suddenly change his mind? Is he was given the truth. If you paid attention in the trailer, it was saying that he was getting so smart. No, let me look up that word smart. The word smart. The verb. Hold on. So I guess, you learn something new every day. I'll just read the adjective smart, Middle English smart, from late Old English smart, in reference to hits, blows, stinging, causing a sharp pain, related to smarten, be painful. The adjective is not represented in the cognate languages of speech of words harsh, injurious, unpleasant. 13th century, thus imputed on the impertinent side of witty by 1630s, in reference to persons quick, active, intelligent, clever. The 1620s, perhaps from the notion of cutting with words, etc., or else keen in bargaining. So to be smart is to cut in words or with words, or perhaps the notion of cutting wit. Like which I know of an individual example of this, but I'm not going to say their name. But having a way with words. Let me see. Also, the verb means to cause pain, to suffer pain, be painful. You know, which relates to also this word, man, because it cuts you. It can cause you to suffer pain, right? So when Ben learned the truth, it caused him to become smart, and through that process, it caused him to suffer pain. And that goes also back to I know it ain't gonna. Blue Letter got the weakest fucking search engine. I knew it was in Revelation, but I want to get to it quick. This is Revelation chapter 10, verse 9. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book, which is the scriptures. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up. And how do you eat it up? You have to be diligent, man. You have to rightly divide the word. You know, you have to continue the work in which King James and I believe it was 70 scribes and interpreters that tried to translate. You have to finish their work, man. You have to rightly divide it now. Now that the Most High has poured his spirit out onto his elect to have the eyesight to be able to understand the dark mysteries. And a lot of you don't eat it up, man. You just mimic. You're a parrot, man. You know, it says, and it shall make thy belly bitter. You know, what your belly is dealing with your mind. Cause to be pained. You know, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. You know, and that goes with the good and the pleasant things of, you know, having this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, so, you know, you had received the knowledge, my mind was bitter. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again, because the Bible speaks about regeneration, which another word for regeneration is reincarnation, before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. And, you know, that's being done today via men uploading to the World Wide Web, man. It's able to reach everybody and anyone, everybody and anybody, you know. So going back to Copilot, it says in the trailer, the monkey wants a pet, a servant, a controlled being suddenly overtakes the one who thought he owned him. And that's what you so-called white people think. You think that you could do whatever the hell you want to. You think that you own Israel. And what I mean by Israel, I'm talking about so-called blacks, Latinos, and indigenous. And one of the reasons why you're so pompous is because of your military, which that pride is going to go out the window once that military is found to not really be as good as everyone, you know, feared it was. It says the owner becomes the hunted, the beast becomes the judge. This mirrors the prophecy: the oppressed overtakes the oppressor, the servant overtakes the master, the natural order flips. It's going to be a changing of places, man. Ecclesiastes 10. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 5. It says, there is an evil or bad occurrence which I have seen under the sun. You know, also, to be very specific, evil is a compound word meaning bad times. It says, as an error which proceeded from the ruler, folly is set in great dignity. And that's the reason why you people don't really know what's going on because you're too focused on folly. Right now, you stupid people's primary focus is on this holiday, man. Christ's death, which he didn't die in the heart of winter, nor was he born in the heart of winter. You people are worshiping Satan, man, in the form of Tammuz. Anything that's contrary to the scriptures is Satanism, man. So, really when deal with these people, you're dealing with nothing but a bunch of Satanists and agnostics. Those that don't even believe in the Most High. A lot of these people, once they get cut by the scriptures, that then they'll say the scriptures is a fairy tale. So a lot of you, the mass majority, especially you Edomites, you don't even believe in the scriptures. Folly, early 13th century, mental weakness. And you see that mental weakness, man. And that's the environment in which, Esau likes to thrive in. He likes to thrive in a environment of confusion. And confusion produces, or I should say, confusion is a byproduct of mental weakness. Foolish behavior or character, and you see that with, entertainment, how much of a deviant can you be, unwise conduct, what are some of the things that Jake participates in that is unwise? These sports, this acting shit, gang banging, rapping, shit. I like to put some words together, but I never had the intent, to become a rapper. I wanted to own the label. And unlike these other motherfuckers, I wasn't gonna trick my artists out of their money, man. Matter of fact, I feel stupid because, majority of the artists that I had, they made more money than I did. So it says in Middle English, including wickedness, lewdness, madness, and that's what thrives here in America, folly, right? And it's set in great dignity, It says, and the rich sit in low place, and the rich is dealing with the elect. They're set in a low place. They're not highly regarded. Verse 7. Well, I should say the rich is the Israelites, starting with the elect. But the Israelites as a whole are the rich that sit in a low place. Verse 7, it says, I have seen servants, which are the Edomites in these heathen nations. Mind you, there's a theme, there's a pattern in the scriptures that says that these heathens are going to be a possession. They're going to be an inheritance upon horses. So we see these Edomites because they're going to be the top fucking slave, man, in power, because a horse represents power. And princes, which is you Israelites, he is prince of the power, Yashar Allah, walking as servants upon the earth. And there's going to be a big change in the places soon, man. So if you object, man, shit, holler at that that Edomite, that fine Edomite woman, man. You know, don't have the confidence, man. Because these people ain't shit. A lot of them, they live in a Disney illusion. You know, it's hard to even want to converse, you know, with these delusioned people. These people are retarded, man. Breakdown. This is the classic GMS breakdown. The servants on horses equals those in rulership who shouldn't be, which is the so-called white man. The princes walking equals the rightful rulers in a low estate, which is the Israelites. It's a temporary inversion allowed by Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. So, you know, as the scriptures say, this is not our rest. This is only temporary, man. This is temporary punishment because we're at the end of it. It says, but it will be reversed in the last days. But yet you have these niggas that's saying that our oppressors are just going to get away scot-free. And that's far from it, man. It says, primate trailer parallel. The monkey is treated like a pet, a toy, a spectacle, a servant walking. But when he snaps, he becomes the one with power, agency, and dominion. The humans who thought they were the princes are suddenly running, hiding, walking as servants. You know? And that reminds me also of the scriptures in which it say they should become as women, because there were none but a bunch of women in that trailer that was getting, you know, the business handed to them. And then they called to the rescue some more women, you know, that had a more so of a elongated clitoris, because that's what a lot of you men are. You men in this society are a bunch of bitches, man. I was watching the movie, the brother, I forget his name. I think it's Karakterzak. I might be mistaken. Las Vegas sit downs. He was doing a video on Jake that got knifed. I believe it's over there in the downtown area, the Arch District area, which is nothing but maybe about 4 miles away from me, 4 or 5 miles away. And never once in that nigga mind was it for him to run away, man, or defend himself, you know, which shows the mind state of you people, man. A lot of you people, you're gonna turn into a vegetable when death presents itself, because you have certain I forget the exact word. No, it's not stimuli or whatever. It's something where you have a certain response, which is to either fight or flight. You know, you're either gonna fight for your life, you know, or you're gonna run away. But the Most High's putting a dumb spirit on you to just sit there and get killed, man. You know, but that's something I observed um, with a lot of you people, man. A lot of you people are afraid to break bones and, you know, crack knuckles and shit, man. It says, the humans who thought they were the princes are suddenly running, hiding, walking as servants. The trailer visually embodies the scriptures, or the scripture, the wrong ones were in power until judgment hit. And that's the theme of you so-called white people. The wrong ones are in power. Then judgment hits. This is Job chapter 20, verse 27. It says, the heavens shall reveal his iniquity, which, the heavens represents the internet and the satellites, where you can access information about the wickedness of this damn devil, his track record. And, all you niggas that, brush his track record under the rug, or you're going to be put to death, man. Because this damn devil, if he could, he'll bring up charges against you from 3 past lives ago if he could, man. So, since he can't, he'd rather just give you 100 years, 1,000 years, 500 years as, psychological torture. But in all reality, man, if you have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you don't give a shit about if you die or not, man. Because you already know what it is and what it ain't. And that's why they got to push the fear of the unknown. And they got to push this heaven and hell scenario, man, which is not according to the scriptures. It says, and the earth shall rise up against him. And that's the whole creation is going to rise up against these damn devils, aiding him to be, kicked down the toilet, man. Sometimes you got to push that water into the reservoir to fill it back up in order to unclog, the toilet. Well, there's going to be a fire hydrant hose of water being pushed into that reserve and to help this damn devil circle the drain, man, and to never to be found no more at all again. It says the increase of his house shall depart. So all his riches, he's going to lose all his riches, all the things that he stole, all the turning of things upside down that he did. It's all going to depart. His military is going to get wiped off the face of the earth. All these nations' military, for that matter. It says, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. This is the portion of a wicked man from the Most High. And the wicked, the sons of the wicked, are you so-called white people, man. The Edomites. It says, in the heritage appointed unto him by the Most High, which all this is predestined. Right? This is the heritage that, you're predestined to possess, for lack of better words. It says the day of Yahweh in the future, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, because Yahweh, he's going to be in the fire of those missiles, and Yahweh Shah is going to lead the armies with the chariots, with Mayaka Allah. Verse 15, it says, for the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. That's dealing with you so-called white people, you so-called Chinese, you so-called Japanese, you so-called East Indians, you so-called Arabs, so-called Jews, Jewish, You know, and you so-called Africans that go back to the line of Ham, you know, all you non-Israelite nations. It says, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. How you raped, robbed, murdered, and things that we don't even know about, but will be revealed in the kingdom that you've done. There has to be a reason why the severity of punishment is, some will say overkill. You will have to charge the Heavenly Father with overkill if he was somehow to be brought to a court of law of Esau on what he's going to do to him, man. And how proud these damn devils is, they don't realize that 1,000 years from now, they're never going to exist again, man. They're going to be exterminated. And then you got these women that, flock to these weak-ass Edomites, not knowing that they sleeping with the devil the Bible speaks of, man. The only one that should be with an Edomite is the man, is the Israelite man. That's the only one that should be with an Edomite woman, is an Israelite man, because that's a sign of rulership when you conquer a nation's women, That's a sign of rulership when another nation doesn't have access to the ones that rule women. It says thy reward shall return upon thy own head. So everything that you heathen nations did to so-called blacks, Latinos, and indigenous is going to come right back onto you. It says this is the prophecy of universal judgment. The wicked become exposed. Creation itself turns against them. Their own works testify against them. And that's why we have videos. This is why we call you the devil. Animals attacking your ass. You being exposed at an alarming rate. Their protection collapses. The left-hand side, where you get power from your sorceries and your witchcraft, that's going to turn against you. It says their victims become their judges. And I looked up the word victim a long time ago, and one of the definitions is their sacrifice. Primate trailer parallel says the monkey, a creature under man's dominion, becomes an instrument of judgment. The earth rising up is symbolized by the very thing that humans thought they controlled, which is the only way you could be a human is if you're a colored man. Because the word human is a compound word, which means color and man. It says their own creation, their own environment, their own pet. And, in this time is going to be these niggas that you so-called white people created, man. When you had Amalek, the so-called Jew, infiltrate hip-hop, turn it to gangster rap, destroyed the families, created Tyrones. Those Tyrones are going to turn against you, man. It says their own pet becomes their downfall. And when Tyrone turns against you is when its handler, the woman, is fed up. That's when these niggas is gonna react. Cause mind you, man, it's the woman that is the leash holder for a lot of you fucking niggas, man. You do everything for these raggedy ass, cum drenched women, man. It says this is the same prophetic pattern. Judgment comes from the direction the wicked least expect. You know, AI commentary. The trailer is a parable of the last days. The oppressed creation rising, the false rulers losing control, the natural order snapping back. Judgment coming from the least expected source. The wicked being overtaken by their own works. Just like the monkey turns on his owner, the world Esau built will turn on him. The plowman overtakes the reaper, the princes rise, the servants fall, every hand is toward the wicked. It's the collapse of false dominion and the return of righteous order. You know. So with that, I hope at least one brother of the elect was edified. And I'm gonna say shalom.